Boys and girls, we talked about Wynton Marsalis in our music video for this week. So I would like to read Ben's Trumpet, a young boy who wants to learn to play the trumpet. Ben's Trumpet by Rachel Isadora. And if you notice all the use of lines, and they're all basically zigzag lines, and the use of black and white. In the evening, Ben sits on the fire escape and listens to the music from the Zigzag Jazz Club. He joins in playing his trumpet. Sometimes he plays until very late and falls asleep in the hot night air. Every day on the way home from school, Ben stops by the Zigzag Jazz Club. He watches the musicians practice. The pianist, the saxophonist, the trombonist, and the drummer. But most of all, Ben thinks the trumpeter is the cat's meow. Ben feels the rhythm of the music all the way home. He plays for his mama, grandmother, and baby brother. And for his papa and his friends. One day, Ben is sitting on the stoop and playing his trumpet. "I like your horn," someone says. It is the trumpeter from the Zigzag Jazz Club. Ben smiles and watches him walk to the club. The next day after school, Ben stops and listens to the musicians practicing a red-hot piece. He starts blasting away at his trumpet. Some kids in front of the candy store watch him. "Hey, what you doing?" they yell. Ben stops and turns around. "What do you think you're doing?" they ask again. "I'm playing my trumpet," Ben answers. "Man, you're crazy. You got no trumpet." They laugh and laugh. Ben puts his hands in his pocket and walks slowly home. He sits on the stoop and watches the blinking lights of the Zigzag Jazz Club. He sits there a long time, just watching. Down the street, the band comes out for a break. The trumpeter comes over to Ben. "Where's your horn?" he asks. "I don't have one," Ben says. The trumpeter puts his hand on Ben's shoulder. "Come on over to the club," he says, "and we'll see what we can do." So boys and girls, I wanted you to notice that this entire book was done in black and white and grays, and that often we saw zigzag lines. We're going to first draw a trumpet. So I've drawn a trumpet with zigzag lines around it, and we're going to do that together. So start out by drawing a curved line here, and then letting it open up a little bit, and then we draw the bell of the trumpet. Okay, we put a handle underneath where the trumpet player holds the instrument, and the keys that the trumpet player has to push to make different pitches. Okay? And I'm going to outline that in my dark pencil. And if you wanted to make it even more clear, you could take a magic marker and outline as well. Now I could use a crayon and color this gold or yellow or orange because that's the usual color of trumpets. But in keeping with the character of the book, Ben's Trumpet, I won't do that because remember everything in that book was black or white or gray. Okay, so there is my trumpet. And now I'm just going to use that idea of zigzag lines that we saw in the book to create a background. And I went over those with black crayon. I won't spend too much time doing that here. So you get the idea. So there's our trumpet and the idea of the zigzag from the Zigzag Jazz Club. Okay, now this part is a little more challenging. If you remember in the book, when he's talking about his favorite instruments, he talks about the trumpet player, and there's several different poses of the trumpet player, all in white, playing his instrument. So we're gonna take a pose and see if we can make it. Now, I know this is a little more challenging than the other things that we've done, but I chose this one. And we're gonna start out with that connection between the hat, create a hat, and then his shoulder comes way out and cuts back in. And then we have the legs come down. The first one leg comes down this way. And then the other leg is not at the same plane. Comes around, and there's the knee. Okay, and then this comes straight up until we get his hands. And the instrument itself. So my shoulder might be a little bit too far out. So you could work on that. It's a challenge, but I think that many of you can do that. And then what I did is I just created some more lines based on the Zigzag Jazz Club artwork. So, I did some lines that more traditional, and then a lot of, again, zigzag type lines, which you saw in the book. And then you can go over those with black or gray. So I challenge you to this. You may choose a different pose of the trumpet player to work on. Until I see you next week, please send me photos of your artwork. I hope that you have a good week. This is Dr. D. Thank you.